You know, after my first marriage blew up, after 6.5 years, I guess it was expected. I married the girl for all the wrong reasons. Married the wrong girl for all the wrong reasons, which of course were no reasons at all, other than to keep getting laid because I was getting laid. Having learned my lesson, I dated for 8 years, and most of them were one date only. There were a few that lasted a little bit longer than that, but with women that I knew that I wasn't going to marry, they weren't going to be my wife. Just kind of like passing time. But I wanted a wife. First wife, she wanted to be married. She didn't want to be a wife, but she wanted to be married. Later on, she wanted a baby. She had absolutely no desire to be a mother, but she wanted to be a baby. She wanted a nice little wooden house, yellow, with a white picket fence. Wanted to do absolutely nothing to attain those goals. Nothing. Real waste of time. She wanted to have a part-time job. She had to get out of the house. So she put our daughter in childcare. The daughter the daughter's childcare cost more than she was bringing in. That makes absolutely no sense. You're going to have somebody else raise your daughter so that you can get out of the house. 6.5 years. Finally blew up. Good thing that it blew up. So I spent 8 years looking for a wife. Now, this is how you do it. This is for the gentleman, the young gentleman. Now, if you're actually looking for a wife, tell the girl on the first date. That's what you're looking for. That's your goal. A wife, a mother, and a homemaker. Let them know right away on the first freaking date. Don't waste your time dating somebody that has already expressed a desire to do something else. When my wife and I met, now I'm talking about my permanent wife, right? When we met, we talked about this. We admitted to each other that the only reason we were seeing each other was because I was looking for a permanent wife, one that would stay with me for the rest of my life. And she was looking for a husband. This little sweetheart was a virgin too, 27 years old, never been touched, waiting to meet me. Okay. So we made this agreement that the only reason we were seeing each other is because we were looking for the permanent mate. We went on from there. We agreed that this is difficult. I'm losing my train of thought. This is what happens when you get old. I'm 70 now, so the mind wanders a little bit. Anyway, we agreed that if we got married, there would be no divorce, no matter what. I wasn't leaving her. She wasn't leaving me. There would be no divorce. On our second date, we were discussing how many children each one of us wanted to have if we married ourselves, her and I, I said, well, let's hypothetically just say you're not married. Let's not say you're marrying me, but when you get married, what do you want? How many children would you like to have? She said she'd like to have 3, maybe 4. I told her I wanted 5, maybe 4. Okay, so we came to an agreement. So here we are having agreements. Okay, there will be absolutely no divorce, no chance. Whatever happened, we were staying together. Okay, it's a process. You work through it. It's not like my first wife. I wasn't any fun. I was less fun than when we first dated. I wouldn't buy her cocaine. That was the big problem. She wanted to have cocaine. This is after we'd already had a child, okay? But she wanted cocaine. She wanted to have fun. And I wasn't having any fun. I'm not sure how much fun you can have when you're trying to save for that little picket fence and the white and the yellow house behind it. I'm sure what kind of fun you're supposed to be having there, but this is what she wanted was fun. Well, my wife, that we've been together 35 years now, I showed her my bank account on like the third date. I said, because I was sort of, listen, I'm saving for a house. Okay, here's my bank account. It wasn't very big, but the point was, I was saving for a down payment on a house because I wanted a wife. Did a lot of praying too. Let's not leave God out of it. Okay, God had a whole lot to do with this because that was my prayer. I prayed. I prayed I wanted a wife. I wanted a kid. I wanted kids, lots of kids, and a house to put them in and enough money to pay for it all. Okay, because I didn't want the wife working outside the house. She didn't need to be working outside the house. She took care of me. She was going to have to take care of me, take care of the house, have babies, and raise them. Okay, that is a handful for any woman. Okay, working outside the house was never her desire. She wanted to be a homemaker and a wife and a mother. And that was what you got through. You talked about that. Talk about it right off the bat. Don't wait. Now, if you're trying to get in her pants right off the bat, you're not looking for a wife. You're looking to get laid. Be real here, okay? So I'm only on this video is only for the guys that are actually looking for a wife. Tell them right off the bat. And I tell you what, if they're not virgins, then they've been playing around, okay? They've been getting it here, getting it there, and you're not the first. Well, you know what? That means that you're not very important. Okay, she's shown you that you're not very important because she did not wait for you. Well, don't wait for her. Okay, don't hang around her. I used to tell these girls I was dating, I had several of them wanted to move into my apartment. Oh, look what I could do with this apartment. This is a great little place. I could do this, I could do that, I could do the other thing. And I said, sweetheart, let's be real. You're not going to be my wife, and I'm not going to be your husband. So you're not moving in. And here's the deal. If I'm walking arm in arm with you, and Miss Wright walks by right in front of us, how am I going to approach Miss Wright when I'm with you? If you're on my arm and my future wife appears, how am I going to explain away you? It ain't going to work. It just is not going to work. When Miss Wright shows up, I'm going to be there all by myself, and so is she, and we're going to start talking about it. And quite frankly, that's kind of the way it happened. Although we did use a third party. I had this lady altering my shirts. I bought shirts at the thrift store, right, for work. Bought a couple of shirts that didn't have pockets, of all things. Button-up shirts with no pockets. Well, I was an outside serviceman, HVAC and the like. Actually, buildings maintenance is what it was. So I needed pockets. Well, I found this seamstress to cut off the long sleeves of these shirts and make pockets out of them. So I had breast pockets so I could put my stuff in, pens, tablet, all that kind of stuff. So, and she was a nice Mexican lady. She's married. She had 4 little girls of her own. And I told her the story. I said, listen, I am looking for a wife. And I told her I specifically actually wanted a Mexican wife because I knew that they would sooner kill you than divorce you. You might have your disagreements, all right, but she's not going to leave you, all right? This is the Mexico of old back in 1985. And, well, she just happened to be this little girl. This little girl that was babysitting her daughters while she was there at the seamstress shop trying to make a living. Her husband had a little business. He was trying to get into real estate, so they shared an office. And so I told her my story, and she went to this girl and said, hey, I've got this man. He's divorced. And, the first thing that pops into a Mexican woman's head is divorced. I'm not touching that. And besides that, I was a gringo, and she'd been in the United States long enough to know she couldn't trust gringos. which was kind of something to overcome. But she agreed to meet me, although she had no hopes at all. This gringo divorced, there's red flags for her. But there was no red flags for me. This is a 27-year-old mature woman, okay, that was still waiting for her husband to show up. And it was a winner for me. So she agreed to meet, and I went over where she was babysitting, and we met each other, and it all went from there. We got chaperoned. We were chaperoned on our first 2 dates by this other lady's little girls, the ones my wife to be was babysitting. Heck of a story. But anyway, we admitted that, right off the bat, we did not love each other. Okay, we did not love each other. We made a contract that we would get married, we would stay together no matter what. She would give me babies, and she would stay home and take care of everything that needs to be taken care of with the home, which is quite a lot. Those career girls, because I'm not talking to the girls right now, but those career girls, they've got a job, they've got plans. Hey, leave them to their plans and their job, okay? Because their plan is not you. Their plan is their job and their career and whatever else they think that they want out of life, and it ain't you. So don't do that. Anyway, since my mind is starting to wander off again, that's all for now, because, listen, guys, don't waste your time with a girl that doesn't have you as her primary goal. You as her primary goal and the finish line. You are the finish line. She's going to come to you and stay with you, and bingo, she's made it. She ain't leaving. She ain't taking your money. She's not taking your kids. You guys are going to stay together. And it's easy. A contract. The wife and me made a contract, and we learned to love each other. Love came, love is here, love ain't going anywhere at all. I would not trade this woman for anything, and she wouldn't trade me. She's got her house, paid for. Hello. We even bought a place in Mexico, so she's got that too, Anyway, don't waste your time. Tell them right off the bat what you're looking for, and don't settle. If you want to go out with her a couple of times, 3, 4, that's fine. But you ain't going anywhere with her. Okay? I think I've said enough for now. Goodbye.